Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, August 27th, 2025, and the Philadelphia Eagles are still Super Bowl champions, and the Philadelphia Phillies are still in first place. Welcome to the Philly Press Box Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. And Chet, the Eagles' 53-man roster is anything but set. It's how Roseman and staff continue to tweak. They did again throughout today. The Philly struggles continue at Citi Field with a disastrous Monday and not that great of a Tuesday either. They're still in great shape with a 5-game lead in the NL East. A win tonight would be helpful for sure. We have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, we sure do, Bill. We're not in panic mode just yet regarding the Phillies, but it's a concern, certainly. Citi Field, as Tom McCarthy said on the broadcast, a house of horrors for our Phillies. We are getting excited, though, about another Eagles season, fast approaching. And, Bill, we have to figure out what kind of a wedding gift we're going to get for Travis and Taylor.
Yeah. That was on the top of my list. I wasn't exactly sure when I was going to get to that, but
okay.
Yeah. Hey, but we have a couple legendary guests, I'm sure, who are concerned about that wedding as well. Making return visits to Philly Press Box Radio, and our great friend, the Hall of Famer Ray Didinger. He'll talk all things Eagles, and WIP radio icon Angelo Cataldi will be joining us.
Yeah, what a show, huh? I mean, when you think about Philadelphia sports journalism and sports talk radio in the city, the last 3 or 4 decades, really, both of these guys are at or near the top of everybody's list. And we are honored that we have them both willing to join us on our little show. Always a good time, especially, with Ray Diddy. And we do appreciate him. He's here. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's welcome back our friend, the Hall of Famer, Ray Didinger, back to Philly Press Box Radio.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Great, Ray.
Hello. Great to see you, as always, Ray. Hey, folks know this. Ray Didinger is one of our favorite guests, and he's been a success at everything he's attempted over his life, with one exception, that, of course, retirement. Ray, you've been making weekly Saturday appearances again on WIP. You've got 2 plays hitting different stages this fall. I got to give you a C- on your retirement attempt.
I hope Mrs. Didinger's not listening right now.
She just left. Hopefully not permanently.
Lucky for you. All right.
Actually, yes, 2 plays and another edition of the Eagles Encyclopedia, which is coming out in middle of October. It wasn't planned, but I mean, the Eagles did win a Super Bowl in February, and that sort of necessitated updating the 3rd edition of the Eagles Encyclopedia. So I had to hunker down and revise, update, and get the Eagles Encyclopedia, or the Eagles history book, up to speed with the latest Super Bowl. So that was a pretty ambitious undertaking that got me through February and March. But the new Eagles Encyclopedia, called Champions 2, will be out in bookstores in the middle of October.
All right, Ray, we got to talk about the Eagles. Cowboys coming to town a week from tomorrow. We know the schedule is tougher this year. We know how many guys are gone from last year's Super Bowl championship team. But how does this roster, this team, compare to the 2024 Eagles?
I think that it is, as you're saying, and Bill just said it, it's still kind of a work in progress. I mean, Howie Roseman is guys are coming and going right now to fill in the fringes of that 53. I think the guts of it, the key guys are there, and they can play with anybody. But I don't know. Coming out of the preseason, I would still say the Eagles are the favorites. But I think there were some issues. I'll be honest with you. I mean, watching them play in the preseason, forget the wins, losses. That doesn't really matter. Just kind of what you saw. And, I think they have issues in the secondary. I think they haven't found the other cornerback who's going to play opposite Mitchell. I think they're still experimenting at the slot and also at the other safety position. I'm not 100% sold on the edge rushers once you get past the starters. A couple of the free agent guys they brought in that you hope that they would sort of emerge, haven't yet. And, the offensive line, I mean, you've got Dickerson's coming out of the preseason with a knee injury. Juergens is coming off back surgery. And when all the backup linemen had to play in the preseason, the 5 offensive linemen, it didn't look great, So if they get a couple injuries on the offensive line, I'm not so sure how good the reinforcements are going to be. So those are all concerns in addition to what you talked about, Chet, which is the schedule, which is just a brutal schedule. When you're the defending Super Bowl champ, you expect that. But it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. And as Nick Sirianni has said a few times over, when you're the Super Bowl champ, everybody's going to be gunning for you. You're going to get everybody's best shot every week. And 17 weeks of that, it's a long, hard climb. And they've got good players, and they have a chance to do it, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
Well, Ray, me and my partner here, we're having this little debate about QB1. And I'm thinking there's not much more he can do to continue to raise the bar on his play. My partner here is not all on board with Jalen Hurts. What more can we expect from him? He's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he is certainly a lightning rod in this town. And listen, that's nothing new. I mean, Eagles quarterbacks tend to be. I mean, going all the way back to, Sonny Jurgensen. I mean, if you want to go back that far. I mean, if you're the quarterback, if you're the man under center in Philadelphia, you're under the microscope big time. And especially now in this era of sports talk radio and everybody in the world having a podcast. Everybody's watching every move you make. But to me, when the question was being asked, I was listening to the radio one day, was in the car, and the question was actually asked, is this the year that Jalen Hurts has to prove himself? I almost drove off the road. I said, wait, did I miss something here? I mean, he was the Super Bowl MVP like 3 days ago, right? I mean, he did do that. I didn't imagine that. I didn't dream that, right? Is he the classic quarterback? No. Is he ever going to lead the league in passing yardage? Doubt it.
Hope not.
Is he going to lead the league in touchdown passes? Probably not. I mean, statistically, is he going to be up there with those other guys? No. But if you're a quarterback in the National Football League, I think you're measured by two things: how many points you score and how many games you win. Mm-hmm. And by those standards, this guy's right there with everybody. I mean, I've seen all of these ratings and whatever they are, where they're listing the top quarterbacks, and he's 8th, 9th, 10th. I mean, Jaden Daniels is ahead of him. I mean, Joe Burrow's ahead of him. And Josh Allen. And look, these are good players, certainly. But did they win a Super Bowl along the way here? I mean, send up a flare when Joe Burrow wins a Super Bowl, okay? I mean, Jalen Hurts has done it. I mean, he's taken his team to there twice in the last 3 years, and the last time they went, they won, and he was the MVP. And it's always been my thinking, maybe wrong, but always been my thinking, that when teams are looking at quarterbacks, who they're going to draft, who they're going to sign, who they're going to acquire, organizations ask one question. The question is, can this guy win us a Super Bowl? Can we win a Super Bowl with this guy? That's what it all comes down to. That's what they have to ask about every quarterback that they bring in and pay the big money to. This guy, can he win us a Super Bowl? That's what we make the commitment. Well, Jalen Hurts has done that. I think in some ways he's an unconventional player. But it's partly a function of having worked on what was last year a very unconventional modern NFL offense where they actually ran the football. But I think in all the things that matter in terms of winning games, I mean, he's demonstrated he can do that. So I don't, to me, I personally rate him higher than most people. And I certainly don't have I'm not running around asking if this is going to be his proven year. To me, I think he's already done that.
Yes, sir. Ray, I remember you did like the Jahad Campbell pick. He'll play some edge, I guess, but with Campbell and Zach Bond, the Eagles actually have two pretty damn good linebackers. Do you agree?
Oh, yes, I do. And you got Nakobe Dean, who's probably going to be available to you at some point. But, yeah, I think that I really like the Campbell pick. I mean, I saw him. Listen, anybody saw Alabama play, you saw what this guy can do. He's a really, really good player. And if we were all having this discussion right before the draft, I wouldn't have thought there was any chance that the Eagles would get him at 31. I mean, to me, he was a top 12 talent. Now, I understand the shoulder injury scared some teams off, but listen, the Eagles get lucky. I mean, a really good player falls in their lap at 31. And, you take a player with his talent and his versatility, and you give him to Vic Fangio, a defensive coach like that, who's so good at spotting his players and putting them in spots where they can excel. Zach Bond being a perfect example. Boy, you take a kid like Campbell and you put him in Vic Fangio's hands, you've got a real weapon there. And I think he's going to be an impact player. I think he's going to be an impact player right away. I really do. I think he's, I'll tell you right now, I think he has a chance to be defensive rookie of the year. I think he's that good because he's going to have to play a lot. Because I really do think that he's got versatility. I mean, he can play that inside off the ball linebacker spot, and he can play that very well. But he can also be a true edge pass rusher. I mean, you can put him up on the edge and get him chasing down the quarterback. And with what I saw in the preseason, they may need a little help in that area, because you've lost Brandon Graham, you lost Josh Sweat, you've lost some people out there. And I think this kid, I mean, he can play all over the place, but you may see him on the edge more than you think, because if this team has trouble getting pressure on the quarterback, one of the things they can do to rectify that is put Campbell on the edge, and he'll get it for them.
Ray, back on the offensive side of the ball, there's a whole season full of tape of Saquon Barkley and the things that he did last year. Do you see the defense is adjusting to that? And would you expect to see a whole lot more throwing from Jalen Hurts this year, kind of forced by the defense to shut down Saquon, or is that too risky to load the box and put these receivers in man coverage?
No, I think it is. It's they're really taking a chance. I mean, if you look at these receivers, Brown, Smith, and Goddard. If you're going to play single coverage across the board, you're really asking for trouble. I mean, defenses are going to have to do a lot of different things. First and foremost, though, they're going to have to figure out a way to slow down Saquon Barkley. And, I don't want to say I'm worried, but there has to be some degree of concern when you have a guy coming off a season like that with that incredible workload. I mean, almost 500 touches. I mean, you look through the history of the NFL, guys that have had that kind of workload, you're not expecting him to duplicate that. I mean, I don't expect him to get 2,000 yards again. But do they suffer the next year? Are they lesser players? Can you see that season has taken something out of them? And, I mean, you can go but Saquon is, I don't want to compare him to Jamal Anderson or Priest Holmes or those kinds of guys that had like a precipitous drop off after a heavy duty year. This guy's better than they are. So maybe he's going to be the exception to the rule. But I think the Eagles have to think in terms of, look, he's still going to be the workhorse. He's still going to be the bell cow of the offense because he is that good. But I think they're going to have to be a little more careful and maybe a little more judicious about how much they ask him to do this year. Now, with the Eagles, he doesn't have to rush for 2,000 yards to take the Eagles back to the Super Bowl, but he does have to be available to them for 17 weeks, and that's that to me is the one concern. But his talent is undeniable, and the season that he had last year was nothing short of magical. I mean, you talk about, what was it, 7 60-yard or longer touchdown runs in the NFL. I mean, you might get that in Division III. You might get that in high school football. But at this level of football, guys just aren't ripping off 60-yard touchdown runs week after week after week like this guy did. I mean, we saw something very, very special last year.
Hey, Ray, as a follow-up to what you were just talking about, I was looking at the Vegas odds yesterday on some individual stats, and let me get 10-second answers from you on each of these 3 guys. Saquon Barkley rushing yards, 1,376. That's the over-under number, 1,376. What do you say?
I would probably say over.
Okay.
I'm not going to say by how much, but I would say over. I mean, assuming that his offensive line is intact, and he maintains health, I think 1,300 is attainable. Yes.
Number 2, A.J. Brown receiving yards, 1,125.
Well, that might be a little bit tougher in the sense that this team is still going to run the ball a lot. And he has to share the wealth in the passing game with Smith and Goddard and maybe Barkley if they use him more as a receiver. So I would probably go under on AJ.
Last one, Jalen Hurts, touchdown passes, 19.5. I forget what he had last year, but 19.5 this year.
Mm-hmm. See, I think with Hurts, the over-under on him is aggregate touchdowns. I think with him you have to factor it all in as passing touchdowns and rushing touchdowns. Right. I mean, he could get 19 passing touchdowns but wind up with 36 total touchdowns. You know, the way the play calling works here and his unique ability to score in the red zone. Would I say 19 under 19.5 is what you said?
Yep.
Because I think they might take a few more shots in the passing game, I might say over.
I agree.
But I think, but if it is over, it won't be by a ton. I mean, he's not going to put up, Joe Burrow kinds of numbers because they just don't have that kind of offense.
Yeah, Vegas knows what they're doing, Ray. You know that.
They generally do.
Yeah.
They generally do. I mean, week to week with their point spreads, they're usually right on, and their over/under stuff is shockingly good.
Bill?
Hey, Ray, you've been around these championship teams a long time in all your different coverages. Have you ever seen a team, at least to the public, it appears, that has seemed to have, minute one, put this all behind them and focused on the next one? Like when they got their rings, it was celebratory, but it was like, hey, this is cool, man. We got to get to work tomorrow because we got another one to win.
Right.
Is that a real thing, do you think, or a mental game?
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, they said all the right things.
Yeah.
They all talked about, we're not defending anything. That championship is won. We're now going out to win the next one. That's sort of how clearly that's the message that's coming down from on high. I mean, that's the message in the building coming down from the coach that, we're not worried about last year. Last year, we got the rings. They're in the safe deposit box. It's in the record books. Now it's a new season, a new challenge. And that is the right approach to take, I think. If you look back at teams that have won multiple championships, that's generally the way they approach it. I mean, the Patriot teams, when they were on their run, Belichick was certainly of that mind. I mean, that was the message he preached. Forget about last year. This is a whole new year now. And Chuck Noll was very much the same way with the Steelers when in the 70s when they won 4 and 6 years. You can't spend too much time reflecting on what you've already accomplished. If you do, the league has a way of making you pay for that.
Yeah.
I mean, and this team, the thing about this team is they see the schedule that's in front of them. and they know how tough this is going to be right from the jump. I mean, those first, you can say what you want about the Cowboys, but those 3 games after that, when you have to play Kansas City and Kansas City, play a Rams team that almost beat you in the playoffs, and then play Tampa in Tampa, where the Eagles never win. Okay, that's that's the beginning of your season. So there's no time to just sort of kick back and enjoy your past triumphs. You got to really bear down and try and win each of those games.
Ray, as noted earlier, you claim to be retired. We know better. 2 plays this fall, 1 brand new one popular returnee. I'll tell you, while we were all watching the Broad Street Bullies in the early and mid-1970s, there was a player with the Islanders and later the Buffalo Sabres named Brian Spinner Spencer. Pretty average player based on his stats, but without giving everything away, he had, his family made for quite an interesting story, enough so that Spinner is the focus of your new play. What can you tell us about this production?
Well, that's got it right here. This is the script, and I'm after I finish with you guys, I'm heading down to Delaware Theater Company for rehearsal tonight. And Brian Spencer was a player. It was very typical of the 70s in the NHL. Rock'em sock'em, rough and tumble kid out of British Columbia, who literally fought his way to the NHL, and was in the course of doing that fulfilled the dreams of his father, who was a hard-working, roll-up-your-sleeves lumberjack in British Columbia, whose only dream was to see his son play in the NHL. And the story of their sort of mutual journey and how his son finally does achieve that dream of getting to the NHL. And then I guess the cautionary tale that comes here is be careful what you wish for, because sometimes your dreams come with a terrible price. And that's really the story of Spinner Spencer. It's a story that I wrote, Chet, for the Philadelphia Bulletin back in 1971, when he made his debut and had a night that anybody that was there will never forget. I wrote a story for the Philadelphia Bulletin that night about that game. And it began a relationship that I had with Brian Spencer that spanned his whole 10-year career. I always carried that story, his story. I can't think of another one like it or even close to it in my head. And I felt like at some point I'm going to revisit this story because it's just so out of this world. It just reads like fiction, really. And I knew that at some point I would revisit it. Didn't know how, didn't know when, but I knew I was going to come back and write the Brian Spencer story again. So I have now done that as a play. And it's called Spinner, and it's going to be at the Delaware Theater Company. We're in rehearsal now. We open September 17th and run through October the 5th. And then Tommy and Me is coming back yet again. This will be the 10th year.
Wow.
If you can believe that.
Wow.
We first did it in 2015, and here we are doing it again 10 years later. And that's me, along with Tom Teddy, the actor who has played Tommy McDonald since the start of this thing 10 years ago. We did it. We did the play in January at the People's Light Theater in Malvern. And it went so well. In fact, we sold out the whole run that People's Light asked us to come back and do it again. So we will be there 2 days after I close Spinner. We open Tommy and Me at People's Light in Malvern on October the 7th and run through the 19th. So, I encourage people to come out and see these plays. Sports and theater, they make a very good combination. They're very different kinds of stories. People have seen Tommy and Me. Spinner is different for sure. But I think it's a pretty compelling story. And we have 7 just wonderful actors that have signed on to do this play. I would dare say maybe the 7 best actors working in the Philadelphia area have all said, yeah, I want in on this. So I think it's going to be a great show, and I hope people come out to support it. So Delaware Theater Company for Spinner, and People's Light in Malvern for Tommy and me. And
now you stuck in there greatest moments of Philadelphia sports with Glenn, right?
Yes, that falls right in the middle of it. Greatest moment of Philadelphia sports, which you have seen.
Yeah.
And we're doing it this time at the Uptown Theater in Westchester on October the 15th. And what it is basically is it's the ultimate Philadelphia highlight show. Joe Conklin, Glenn Macnow, and I run through what we feel is our list of the 10, it's actually 11 now, greatest moments in Philadelphia sport, dating back to, say, the 1960 Eagles. And we have film highlights. We have a lot of back behind the scenes stuff that Glenn and I have dug up. And then we have Joe Conklin there to provide all the voices. So if you come out, you'll get to hear Allen Iverson. You'll get to hear Charles Barkley. You'll get to hear Whitey and Harry. You'll get to hear Mike and Merrill, all through the talents of Joe Conklin. So that's October 15th at the Uptown Theater in Westchester. Tickets for that are available. We've done it a couple of times. I know Chet came out to see it, and it really is a fun night. So I hope people will come out to support that too.
No, that's just a one-night stand, right?
That is just a one-night stand. Yes, That is correct. Although we're doing it again in December 3rd at the Scottish Rites Auditorium in Collingswood, New Jersey, which has hosted
great venue.
It's a great venue, and it is huge. I mean, they have had a lot of big name musical acts have gone in there, and we're going to go there and see, and hopefully by December, maybe we'll have another Phillies World Series to talk about.
There you go.
Right. Well, we're going to let you go, but I want to tell you that our other guest tonight is Angelo Cataldi, who you know well. And I taped that interview with him actually yesterday, but here's what he had to say about you. The icon of icons. He's brilliant at everything he does. When Ray speaks, the world listens, and I am in constant awe of him. He likes you, Ray.
He's, we often use the expression, or you hear the expression, one of a kind. People say, "Oh, he's one of a kind," and it's rarely true. I mean, it is true in the case of Angelo Cataldi. I mean, he is everything he said about me, I would certainly apply to him. I mean, he's a man of many, many talents. Came here as a sports writer, working at the Inquirer, was a Pulitzer Prize finalist, and then made the transition over into radio and became the opinion shaper in this city for decades, not just years, but decades. I mean, on a Monday after an Eagles game, everybody on the Schuylkill Expressway was tuning in to hear what Angelo had to say, whether they won or whether they lost. And he was the go-to guy for outrage, certainly, but also when your home team won, he could celebrate with the best of them. I never saw a guy that came from outside the city who became so totally a Philly guy in the sense that Angelo did. I mean, he became the Pied Piper of Philadelphia sports without ever having been born here. Pretty remarkable feat. But I'm sure it was a delightful interview you got with him because he's a really smart guy. And for the folks who have not picked up his book and read it, his memoirs, I absolutely recommend it highly. It's a really, really fine book.
Right there.
It is. It's a really good read and a real good primer on how to succeed in sports talk radio.
Ray, get out of here.
Yeah, Ray, thanks again, as always, for joining us. You're our man. Appreciate you.
Always fun to be with you guys. Take care now.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, hey, Chet, Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, Phil Stiefel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep, you can find Philly Pressbox Radio there in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
And two things regarding STT and Phil. Don't forget about his Eagles Autism fundraiser. We don't have time to play the full 2-minute piece tonight, but yeah, check that out. Eagles Autism fundraiser. He got 3 great items that you can bid on and hopefully win and help the Eagles Autism Foundation in the meantime. Secondly, I was watching TV over the weekend with my wife, who watches all these old TV shows all the time, and she had Family Affair on. And Family Affair had Mr. French. I said, "Oh my God, that looks like Phil." Come on, am I right, Phil?
There you go. There you go. Good stuff. Hey, before we move on, I don't know if your screen got it. I have a screen about this Facebook trouble.
Yes.
A note on there. People are saying they're having trouble with their Facebook. It's real.
So switch to YouTube is what I told them.
Switch to YouTube. So yeah, for whatever it is between our StreamYard and Facebook, it looks like there's a little situation going on that's out of our control.
Yes,
hey, Chet.
YouTube is good. Yes.
Yes. Tell us what's going on over at the Irish Rover Station House. We're almost to Labor Day, pal.
Yes, indeed. The Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, one of my favorite places to visit for a beer or 2 or 3. Some great food there also. The Rover always has trivia every Wednesday at 7. Dinner specials Thursday through Sunday. Killer Burger Thursdays. And yeah, Thursday evening specials on wings and Stella Artois also. And don't forget about the big car show that is coming up. You'll remember that they had to postpone it back in June because it was nasty weather on Father's Day. So they're going to try it again on Sunday, September 7th. That is, a week and a half from now, starting at 9 a.m. Always a great event with a couple hundred classic and antique cars there on display in the Rover's huge parking lot. If you have yet to visit this place, shame on you. Get there. The Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne. It's on Bellevue Avenue there and on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com. I love that place. And how about this guy, Chuck Brodsky?
Hey, whitey man, I miss you. When I listen to the Phillies.
Hi, I'm singer-songwriter and diehard Phillies fan Chuck Brodsky, and you're watching Bill and Chet knock it out of the park on Philly Pressbox Radio. Go Phils.
Go Phils. Thanks, Chuck.
All
Hey,
right,
speaking of the Phils, Chet, they got hammered Monday in Citi Field when the ace melted down for everyone in the world to see. Wasn't pretty. Game actually forced some roster moves that maybe weren't a bad idea. Tuesday, they fell apart again, kind of. They fought back, losing the end. They still sit 5 games up in front of the Braves and the Brewers on deck in the next week.
What the hell is it about the Phillies at Citi Field, Bill? I just don't get it. That's 9 in a row they've lost there.
I have a theory. I have a theory, and I'm not one of those theorist kind of guys, but I did a little research here for just a second. Phils have used 10 pitchers in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
3 of the 10 have pitched clean inning. That was Banks, Strom, and Alvarado pitched clean innings last night. Sanchez, Robertson, Romano, Ross, Luzardo, Kirkring, and Duran all got the crap beat out of them for the most part.
They did.
Something's amiss in Citi Field. Whether
yeah, but what?
Whether it's sign stealing, and that's perfectly legal if that's what they're doing. But you could say Sanchez had a bad day. Okay, he had a bad day. Everybody up there's had a bad day. Something is amiss at Citi Field. I'm just saying.
Christopher Sanchez has been so good all season. He fell apart Monday night. Then Tuesday, the Phils battled back from a 5-2 deficit, tie it up. Bader with a big night, a home run to tie it. But then the suddenly not so dominant new closer, Joan Duran, he's been kind of iffy the last 3 times out. He gave up 4 straight hits in the 9th. The Mets win yet again. As we speak, they are finishing up their series. The Phils and Mets do play again in Philly in a couple of weeks, a 4-game set. And I'll tell you, I don't know if this is a must-win tonight. It's not. The Phillies are still up 5 games. But it would sure feel a lot better to get a win and be up 6 games than rather to be swept and be only up 4 games.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you lose the series 2-1, it doesn't really hurt you. You lose 3, that's not so good. But back to my point. In the last 2 games, if you think back about it, how many times have you seen a Mets hitter at the plate fooled on a pitch? Now, they might not have hit them all, right? But did you ever see them where they were out in front of a ball or looking like they got something they didn't expect? I don't think so.
No.
Now, with that said, Kyle Schwarber is 0 for his last 5 games.
Yeah.
He's stinking it up. He's in a little lull. The Phillies offense, and I said this from the beginning of the year, that it concerns me that whether they're going to be good enough against good pitching, because they just don't put a lot of runs together.
Yeah, they really don't. And I don't know what it is. But we'd like to see a win tonight. We'd like to see them take care of the Braves this weekend. I want to see a little more of a gap between first place and second place. And, you're also in danger of falling back into the 3rd seed. And that would leave you with a 3-6 wild card matchup against the Mets. So
yeah,
I don't want to see them again in the postseason.
No, it'd be good not to. And it makes you close that gap with the Mets, and you got the Brewers coming up who are really, really good. And to start that Braves series, although he's been injured, he's back. Chris Sale is pitching the opener in that Braves series for them. So, a win would be really good. That's for sure.
Hey, Danny showing some love. I think he's talking about me, Bill.
Well, yeah, give him a smack in the head, Bill Furman. Yeah, he must be talking about you. I'm not sure which. Maybe it was the Jalen Hurts thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Thanks, Danny. Appreciate you.
There you go. Hey, Chet. What could be better than September and Phillies and Eagles tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia? Cavs. Philly
These
tailgates.
guys, Cavs Philly tailgates, cooking up a terrific catering business for, 35 years now. Known best for their tailgate parties, Cavs is 3-time winner of Philly Tailgate's Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. Of course, Cav hosts tailgate parties before all Eagles games outside the link, and they have an opener coming up in a week. So you know what that means. Yeah, there will be a tailgate outside the link on Thursday, September 4th, before the Eagles-Cowboys opener. There will also be tailgate parties before home games against the Rams in September and the Broncos in early October, too. You can get details on all upcoming events at Cavs' website, phillytailgates.com. And if you have questions, you can email them at cavscatering@verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go. And Bill, we are 8 days away now from that. And when you think about Eagles who wore number 8, you could go back to just a year ago and have CJ, GJ. But
yeah, that was too easy. I went to Donnie Johnson. Punter for the Super Bowl champions.
Good one.
Yeah.
I don't think I added the guy that I wanted to add for this week. Nope. I was going to add. Oh, yes, I do. There it is. He was a place kicker in the mid-1980s.
Luis Zendejas.
Nope. He didn't wear a shoe on his kicking foot. Barefooted kicker.
Tony Franklin was number 1.
This is a different guy. Paul McFadden.
Oh, Paul McFadden. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Number
I'll
8.
go with that. Luis Zendejas did wear number 8 as well.
Did he?
By the way. Yes.
Huh. I'm never good with numbers. I have no idea about
numbers. I just want you to know next week will be number 1, and that'll be your quarterback. So don't give me any trouble about that.
I think that's a pretty easy one.
There you go. Hey, you had a chance to visit with retired WIP radio icon Angelo Cataldi to talk Philly sports. I'm excited to hear what Angelo has to say about Nick Sirianni and the 5 wins he predicted last season. A hint to our listeners, Angelo hates Sirianni, or at least he used to.
Yeah, he is still not a big fan, Bill. But he does agree with you about QB1 being pretty good. In fact, I think he would put him in the elite category. So you and Angelo agree on something. We talked about that. We talked about all sorts of things together, and it was loads of fun. So check this out. Always a pleasure to have this guy on Philly Pressbox Radio. He is a sports talk radio legend and author. Here's the book right here. Loud, terrific. And as of last November, he is a Philadelphia Sports Hall of Famer. Let's bring him on screen and say hello to Angelo Cataldi. Hey, Ange, how are you?
Hi, Chet. I think they lowered the bar for that Hall of Fame thing. They had to let me in there.
We're going to talk about that again at some point in this interview. So let's get started right away with a little discussion about the Philly sports scene. The Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champions, and the Phillies have the second best record in the National League. So I'm guessing you're now a big fan of both Nick Sirianni and Rob Thompson.
Not at all to either one, although I cannot deny that Nick delivered the big prize. So, you can only be mad at a guy for so long. They did win the championship. Thank you for that, Nick. Now I need you to keep doing it. That's Philadelphia. One great season is not enough for us. You know that, Chet.
Yeah, but regarding the Phillies, with ace Zach Wheeler gone for the season with a blood clot, can they realistically contend for another World Series? What will it take?
Well, I'm still waiting for the narrative about how all of the protections that they gave to Zach Wheeler, how did that work out now? The window of opportunity Chet, not last forever. You got a lot of guys now who are major contributors to this team who are in their 30s, and you lost the best pitcher, arguably the best starting pitcher in baseball. You lost him to 2 surgeries back-to-back. And I'm just going to say, I don't see them now as nearly the threat they were where they could roll Wheeler out there. But they weren't using Wheeler right anyway. They were using pitch counts in the playoffs. The man is your best arm. Use him. Now they don't have him. I doubt it. I would be shocked if they would be able to outlast the Dodgers, especially.
Well, I do want to talk the little Eagles. You took, of course, lots of ribbing and maybe some heat, too, for your infamous Birds prediction a year ago. 5 wins, Angelo. You said 5 wins. Now, we know how things turned out with another Lombardi trophy now on display. The year Saquon Barkley had, Jalen Hurts being Super Bowl MVP. Are you at least optimistic about the upcoming season?
I'm twice as optimistic as I was last year, Chet. I got him winning 10 this year. That's twice as optimistic. I'm so glad I'm not on the air anymore. That would go down in the annals of infamy of some of the dumbest things anyone ever said. I acknowledge that. I own it. All right. This year, not that my prediction should matter to what happened last year. I think the problem they're going to have this year is asking Mark, after the workload he had a year ago, to stay healthy for 17 more games and get there to play. That's a big ask, all right? That guy had the ball a ton last season. My fingers are crossed. I'd love to see him do it. And the other big question I have is that defense and the fact that they've replaced some very good players who played especially well in the biggest game. So, and the schedule, by the way, is murderous. So I got him with 10 wins, twice the total I predicted a year ago. That should get him into playoffs, but probably not much farther.
Hey, by the way, when you wore a Super Bowl Eagles hat on with your visit with Dan Sileo a month ago, you got a lot of folks commenting that you should not be allowed to wear a hat like that. You understand that view, I'm sure.
I do. And fortunately, now that I no longer am on the air, I don't care what their thought is. All right. I will wear whatever hat I want. But they're right. By the way, they're right. I shouldn't be wearing it. But I'm pretending that that was like that whole thing last year at the prediction was just like a dream sequence in a movie. It didn't really happen. It was just, look, I had good reasons for that prediction. What was they had finished the previous year horribly, and they lost Jason Kelce and Fletcher Cox. I mean, I had good reasons. They didn't pan out. I'm thrilled they didn't. Chet, I enjoyed last year's Super Bowl more than I did 2017 because I got to experience it just as a fan. It was phenomenal. There's nothing like it. 34-0. beating Andy Reid in the Super Bowl. That's the peak moment of my life as a fan.
Another one of your favorite guys, Andy Reid. We've talked about that. Hey, we talked about Saquon Barkley, how much you enjoyed watching him. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. A lot of the so-called experts don't put him in the elite category. Now, full disclosure, I'm kind of on the fence myself as to whether he belongs in the top tier, but you have been very impressed with Jalen Hurts, have you not?
I haven't. If you are a commentator who have not put Jalen Hurts in the elite category, then you are not in the elite category as a commentator. How's that? Because that man right there, there's one thing about that man right there. He's a winner. His dad was a coach. He's lived around football. He understands the game. He's brilliant on the field. He makes the big plays. And he's nowhere near as annoying as Donovan McNabb was during that era. No, I love this guy. This guy is my favorite Eagles quarterback of all time because I like his demeanor. He's honest. He's straightforward. He's not rah-rah. And he's a great performer in moments.
Now, regarding the head coach, you have had some criticism, to say the least, of Nick Sirianni. Have you changed at all regarding him?
No, it's my problem. I'm pretty sure, Chet. I watch him. I listen to him. He never really has ever impressed me. The years I got to talk to him, not impressed. His strategic decisions, not impressed. His demeanor on the sideline, not impressed. They won a Super Bowl. I'm impressed by that. But right now, my brain, which doesn't give in to stuff like this very easily, I've kind of signed that championship to Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. I thought the two coordinators were the reason they won last year. And the fact that they brought in one of Sirianni's pals, Capitulo, to be the offensive coordinator, that does not bode well. The last time they tried that with Brian Johnson, it didn't work. I'm not sure it's going to work now either.
Okay. Hey, when we talked last November, the 76ers were just a couple of weeks into what turned out to be a dreadful season. What the hell is going on with that franchise?
They got a general manager who won't acknowledge the reality of the situation, which is that his big star player is totally unreliable and the fortunes of the team are directly connected to Joel Embiid. It's a losing proposition at this point. He's past 30. They can't move on because they sacrificed 4 years during the process to get Joel Embiid. So they're still praying that somehow Embiid stays healthy, has a good season. They build around him. The odds of that happening are remote. Far more likely is he will check out again. Here's another example, though, of analytics and how load management, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they load managed him so well for so many years that in a year when he was 30, he played 19 games out of 82. Again, load management doesn't work either, Chet. They haven't gotten to the point where they figured that out yet, but you can't build a team around that man anymore because Joel Embiid is past his prime and too prone to injury. This is not going to be pretty how this process ends because it's going to end in failure. They're not going to get anything out of it, Ted. There's no parades for the Sixers.
Angelo, I was on your website the other day, angelocataldi.com, and I spotted a blog piece entitled 7 Things I Don't Care About Anymore. And those included the likes of preseason football and all-star games, but also Kelly Green Eagles uniforms and halls of fame. Angelo, as I said, you were inducted into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame 9 or 10 months ago.
Yeah, that's when I started to lose respect for halls of fame. As I realized, man, anybody can get in these things. But I found out that somebody had championed my cause behind the scenes, and that's how I got in. I know you got Ray Didinger coming up. Ray Didinger championed the cause of Tommy McDonald and got him in. We just saw Dick Allen get in because of a ground crew guy, Mark Carfagno, created a great campaign for him. Jim Donahue did it to get in Whitey Ashburn. If you got a politic to get into a Hall of Fame, is it really a Hall of Fame? I mean, are we leaving out people that just didn't have a big advocate for them, but deserve to be in there? So yeah, I take it with a grain of salt, and I really got to think of. I was at that Hall of Fame, and I was there with Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Jameer Nelson, and I realized, who doesn't belong here? Me. So I began to realize it doesn't mean as much as people might think it does.
It was a great night, though. Hey, I do want to ask you about two gentlemen that you've worked with pretty closely over the last 3 decades, really. One of them is one of those guys you just mentioned. And as you said, he is sharing the billing on our show this week. That is the great Ray Didinger. Angelo, tell me if I'm wrong. Is Ray Didinger the only person in Philadelphia sports media that no one has ever said a bad word about?
Because there isn't one, Chet. There isn't one.
Yeah.
This is the icon of icon. When Ray speaks, the world stops. And he wrote the Eagles Encyclopedia. He is the Eagles Encyclopedia. And something will come up about the Eagles. And hey, without prompting, can give you the entire background on it, letter perfect, with no stammers or stumbles. I am in constant awe of him. And I should point out that he's good at everything he does. Right? He's written brilliant books. He's got another one coming out this year that I've already had the chance to read, and it's fantastic. All right. He's written 2 stage plays. He's brilliant at everything he does. I've never seen somebody who was that versatile. He's what it is? He's just brilliant. He's such a smart person. And I guarantee you that once he is on this show, that no one will ever remember I was on it. All right, because you will get actual information delivered with a sense of authority, which you are not receiving currently.
All right. The other guy I do want to ask you about, though, is the man of 1,000 voices, Joe Conklin. How much fun did Joe provide to the WIP morning show?
I just had lunch with Joe last week, right, Chet? This guy, for all these years, I will be having lunch with him, and he was suddenly doing my voice. And the voice is younger than I am now, so it sounds better than I am now. He's doing me better than I do myself. But the thing about Joe is, Joe's done, look, I worked with him for 30 years. He's the most talented guy I ever worked with. This show he's got out now with the City Rhythm Orchestra.
Yeah.
And it is like a 2-hour homage to Philadelphia sports, the good and the bad. And it ends with, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl last year. If you get a chance to see it, he just worked Ocean City and Wildwood. I said to him, Joe, that is your masterwork. That is the good. It incorporates all of his voices. It incorporates singing. Got his family in it. They're all great singers. And it's all done with great audio visual. One day, he was not easy to work with, Chet. He was not what you would call highly coachable. But the talent is nothing like it. The most talented guy I ever met. It's amazing.
Yeah. Hey, I told you previously, I occasionally watch your podcast that you do with Jay Black, the host, and Rhea Hughes. And last week, you guys talked about the revival of a popular series currently on Showtime and Paramount Plus. And I'm talking about Dexter Resurrection. Man, I am in total agreement with you regarding your take on this. How great is Michael C. Hall in Dexter Resurrection?
I'm going to tell you, Chet, this is the first question you've asked me. I do feel I have some expertise. The podcast is called The TV Show. Yes. And I know more about TV than I ever knew about sports. And let me just say, all right, that show, that Dexter Resurrection show is one of the most remarkable turn of events I've ever witnessed in TV. And I was there from when it first started in the early 50s. They took a show that was brilliant for 4 years and then not so great 4 more years with a horrible ending. They brought it back and redid the ending, basically. Clyde Phillips is the showrunner. It was fantastic. So fantastic. They did an origin show, a prequel. And now they're doing Resurrection where he comes back. He survived a gunshot. And it's better than it ever was. It's better than it was in the first 4 seasons. It was great. The lesson of it is, if you got a creator of a TV series like Clyde Phillips and the Dexter franchise, Once he leaves, it's never as good. Larry David left Seinfeld a couple of seasons before the end. It was still good, but it wasn't as good. And this guy has taken this. And now Dexter is picking off serial killers week by week. It's
great.
It's so good. It's a show that was great, fell apart, and came back greater than the original. You got to see it.
Hey, folks, this book has been out nearly 2 years now. Time flies. If you haven't yet done so, find it, buy it, Loud. Angelo's book. It is really, really good. Anything else, Angelo, we should mention?
No, Judd, thank you. I love coming out with you. You do a terrific job with this podcast. I offer you nothing but hopes for continued success.
As expected, this was loads of fun. For the record, Angelo is predicting twice as many wins as he did last year for the Eagles. 10-7, he says. Pretty sure he'll be closer this time around. Thanks much, Angelo.
So Angelo's taking the under, right? What'd you tell me? 11.5 is
11.5. Yeah, I forgot to get Ray's prediction, but yes, 11.5 is the over-under. He says 10, but to be honest, we can't go by his prediction. He predicted 5 wins last year. Hey, by the way, I edited my chat with Angelo a bit for time, but the full interview will be on our Philly Pressbox Radio YouTube channel shortly after our show ends here this evening, Wednesday evening. And in that full piece with Angelo, you will find out the story behind this picture, this interesting picture with the WIP crew, John Brazier, and the Philly Fanatic. Something going on there. So check that out on our YouTube channel.
All right. And hey, one of the points that he did make that I really found interesting, because me and him actually have never talked other than on this show.
Well, you did meet him at the...
Well, yeah, I met him. Yeah. But the pitch count in the playoffs by Rob Thompson.
Yeah.
Who's ever said that?
Yeah.
Was a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting stuff. Good. Hey, great guest tonight in Ray Didinger and Angelo Cataldi, who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio to kick off the NFL season.
Ooh, tough to top this week's, certainly, Bill, but we're going to try. It is our Eagles season preview show next week, and we have not 2, 3 terrific folks to help with that. We have the guy who runs Bleeding Green Nation, with all their great coverage. That is Brandon Lee Gouton. He's going to join us, plus the longtime radio voice of the Eagles, Merrill Reese, with his annual visit. But, Bill, that's not all. He's not in the picture, but here's a picture. It's Boop. It's Bob Petrone Jr. He is going to be back with his long overdue visit. Boop, you and I will make our preseason predictions for the Eagles, our week 1 picks for some key NFL games. And, the margin of victory pool is back for a 3rd year. You claim you won it last year. I don't remember. I'll have to check.
Of course you don't. we could go back and dig that back up if you'd like. College football kicks off this weekend. Well, it kind of did last week. Soft start, week 0, whatever the heck that means. Got some big games, Chet. Penn State, Nevada is not a big game, but they're playing in Happy Valley, but there are some big games on TV.
Will Penn State cover the 44.5-point line? That's the question.
Is it 44.5? I thought I saw 37, but yeah.
I saw 44.5.
Yeah, I think there's probably a good chance they do cover that, actually. But, but there's some good ones. Check them out. And, man, it's that time of the year. It's always good come Labor Day and into the fall.
Oh, I know you're going to love it. You're going to have a great time Saturday watching football all day. Bill, before we wrap up, a quick shout out. My 30-year-old home has had the need for a plumber more times than it should, more times than you can imagine, including Monday when a burst pipe upstairs caused water to leak into our new kitchen below. Well, we called our guys at McMullen's Plumbing, and they took care of us yet again. We've been using these guys 12 to 15 years now, and they are terrific. Pretty much a 2-man operation doing the work. Bill and Paul, a.k.a. Snap. And, they're great. So if anybody in the Trenton, Hamilton area is in need of a plumber, I can highly recommend McMullen's. Call Kelly at the office, 609-581-1740. You know, Bill, it is important to keep your plumbing intact. You know that.
Absolutely. Hey,
one other thing. I mentioned 30 years. I meant to mention this last week, but speaking of 30 years that we are in our house, 30 years I'm into this marriage, Bill. my lovely wife, Linda, and I did, in fact, celebrate our 30th anniversary over the past week. Remarkably, she hasn't killed me yet.
Well, yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, maybe we should have her on here to discuss the 30 years.
No.
Or maybe not. Hey, R.I.P. Jim Murray.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk to Ray about that, but I did want to ask him about that if we had time. But Jim Murray left us. Just a great guy. And, everybody who met him said he was just terrific. Did so much for the organization and the Ronald McDonald House, of course.
Absolutely. Oh, you got a happy anniversary wish. There you go. We got to throw
thank you,
there.
Robbie.
And we got a plug for Phil, so let's throw that up there as well. We won't talk about the Hitman part. Maybe we should have edited that out, but Sandman, big fan of Phil Stifle, that's for sure.
And Phil himself claims he is the new king of the mornings now, and he does a great job on trending in the AM. Check it out on our STT Sports Network. We love you, Phil.
There you go. I'm trying to throw a couple happy anniversaries up there right quick. Let's wrap this thing up. We're out of time. Everybody. Let's thank tonight's special guests, Ray Didinger and Angelo Cataldi. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim Chet Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, September the 3rd, as we kick off the NFL season at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook and our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel, and listen on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans. Let's go Phillies and go Birds.
And go Nittany Lions.
Thank you.